Good morning, everybody. Today we would like you to complete your arithmetic activity independently as we would if we were in school. You can use the number track which is on the screen to help you find out the answers. Remember, to use your number track, you must start with your first number in the equation, for example 6. You will place your finger on the number 6 and add on the second number in the equation. On the first one, it's number 1, so we would add on 1 space, we would jump 1 space. Then you can write your answer in the box on your page. Now that you have completed your arithmetic activity, we would like you to use the equations from your activity to create part-whole models. I'm going to do an example with the first one on the board for you, and then I would like you to have a go at doing the rest of the equations yourself. So, our first equation was 6 add 1. We know that in our part-whole model, our parts add together to make our whole. If we know that our parts add together, then we can see here we've got 6 add 1. So my first part is going to be the number 6, and my second part is going to be the number 1. My whole is what these two numbers add together to make. 6 add 1, add 1 more, gets me to 7. So my whole is 7. Can you have a go at doing your part-whole models for the rest of the equations from your activity? Now that you've created your part-whole models, we would like you to have a go at writing the fact families for just 4 of the part-whole models that you have completed. A fact family is the same 3 numbers used to create 4 different equations. 2 of the equations are add equations, and the other 2 equations are subtraction equations. Now we have to use the same 3 numbers for each of these equations. So, the first equation I can write is 6 add 1 equals 7. That is my first equation I can do for an addition. 6 add 1 equals 7. Now then, I can also switch my parts around because my parts are commutative. Can you say commutative? Commutative. That means they can swap around. So instead of 6 add 1, I could do 1 add 6. And it would still equal 7 because I'm using the same numbers, just swap them round. Okay? So those are my first 2 equations in my fact family. They are my addition equations. Now I'm going to move on to my subtraction equations. And remember, when we subtract, we start with our whole. Our whole is the number 7. So we're always going to start with the number 7 when we subtract. I'm going to take away one of my parts. I'm going to take away the number 6. If I take away the number 6, I'm left with 1. 7. Take away 6 equals 1. Now I've got another subtraction sentence to write here, another subtraction equation. And when we subtract, we start with our whole. So it's always going to start with the whole, the number 7. Before, we talked about how the parts were commutative, how we can swap them around, and we can still do that when we subtract. Instead of subtracting 6 this time, what number could I subtract instead? I could subtract the number 1 and subtract my other part. So this time I'm going to take away my number 1. What am I left with? I'm left with 6. Excellent. So here is our fact family for the numbers 7, 6 and 1. 6 add 1 equals 7. 1 add 6 equals 7. 7 subtract 6 equals 1. And 7 subtract 1 equals 6. Can you have a go at doing the fact families for 4 other part-whole models that you have completed in your arithmetic activity this morning?